What is good, y'all? Welcome to Let's Cap. We got two WNBA games today, and then we're gonna live cap some MLB today as well. So get ready to call out some games that you guys want to dive into using the moneyballer.com website. Yesterday, I took a day off. I wasn't available to do a show. I didn't even have time to cap the game, so went 0-0, and so I didn't lose no money, so that's that's the goal at the end of the day. Let's get into today's slate here. Oh, well, just a slight recap. So I think over the last since the beginning of the month, we're hitting at like 60%, and in the WNBA, MLB, I'm very like low volume. So I'm only up just a couple units, but it's because I don't bet a lot of the MLB. Even though we dive into these games here, I don't bet all of them. I kind of just rock with the rating system that I have when it hits a specific criteria. And then, yeah, so if it aligns with it, if any of the games you guys come through with aligns with the play, then I definitely on those types of games. Let's get into the W. There's two games today. First one up, Fever and the Dream. I'll bring my screen up here. TheMoneyballer.com. Head to the WNBA page here. And Dream plus 2.5 at home, total up to 163. We have a couple of baller systems on both teams, actually. So two on the Fever here, one on the Dream. The Dream with the revenge angle here today, but they're going to be without Ryan Howard, and that's going to be tough. Tough to be without their top scorer for the team there, but they do have Alicia Gray. Ariel Powers is coming back today after a layoff. If we look at some of the trend or the schedule here, the Fever actually won 5 of their last 7 games, going back to right here. This Chicago game was got them kick-started right there. Lost to the Liberty and lost to Connecticut, but both of those teams are top-tier teams. They've been taking care of business against teams that are at their level or below. If we look at the Dream, they are struggling right now, and they only scored 55 against the Lynx. Ryan Howard did get injured that game. Ariel Powers was out as well, so they were really shorthanded for a majority of that game. If we look at some of the splits here, both teams really struggling in the first half. 1-6-1 on the road here. First half of the Fever, just 1-2 as a favorite, so they're not favorites often. If you look at the Dream at home, they struggle in the first half for sure. 3-9-1 overall, 1-6 at home, 0-3-1 as a dog. If you look at the totals, a lot of things pointing towards the over when it comes to the Fever, and it comes down to their defensive splits, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. But if you look at the Dream, unders, and a lot of this has to do with how they've been underperforming on the offensive side of the ball. And without Ryan Howard, I expect a little more struggles on the offensive side of the ball. As a dog, just 4-0 to the under, 6-1 to the under at home. If we look at the splits here, and this is what I'm talking about as far as like the overs for the Fever, because they're dead last on the season in defensive rating. Slower paced team here. The problem is with taking this over, it's tough because you know that the Dream are struggling offensively. If you look at the last, let's just say 5 games though. Last 5 games here, look at how far the Fever bump up in offensive rating. They're up to 3rd in offensive rating last 5 games. Their defense comes up just a little bit up to 9th instead of dead last. Offensive rating still struggling for the Dream, but the defensive rating for the Dream is pretty good. Here's the thing about the Dream. This is what I'm talking about with their offensive struggles. They're a much better offensive team on paper, but they're just struggling from the field. Dead last in effective field goal percentage. But if you look at all the other pieces for their offense, they're getting to the free throw line a lot. They get the second chance points. They're taking care of the ball. So the opportunities are there. They're just not making their shots. And at some point, that's going to fall down for them. The shots are going to fall for them. If we look towards these pieces here, the 4 factors, and the Fever here, giving up a lot of second chance opportunities, dead last in offensive rebound percent allowed in the last 5 games. So with Parker and Tina Charles being, and obviously Alicia Gray being the focal points of the offense, there's going to be a lot of paint opportunities here for the Dream. And if they have Shanae Parker, and Tina Charles there grabbing the offensive rebounds, this is going to be a problem for them. And if you look at turnover rate too, Ryan Howard is ball dominant, and she's one of the reasons why they did turn over the ball a little bit. But without her, there could be opportunity to make better decisions on the offensive side of the ball. If we look at scoring, Dream 76.6 points per game, second to last. Points off turnovers, both of these teams really not taking advantage of points off turnovers. It's probably because of this here. Dead last in turnover rate forced. If we look at second chance opportunities, this is where, like I said again, Dream's going to be able to take advantage of here. And then fast break points. This doesn't really mean much to me just because both teams play a slower pace. Here's the part that gets interesting, right? Because we know that the Dream are going to get a lot of second chance opportunities, but look at their paint field goal percentage, and look at the Fever's paint field goal percentage allowed. So even if they do get these second chance opportunities, there might be a chance that they don't take advantage of it today against Aaliyah Boston and Melissa Smith. If we look at 3-point shooting, both teams upper half of the league in corner threes attempted. Above the break three percentage for the Fever, doing really well right now. Middle of the pack for above the break three defense for the Dream here. I'm not expecting a lot of threes from the Dream here today. All right, so going through all of that stuff, one thing that I did take yesterday was the Fever at -2. I believe it's at 2.5 right now. I think I saw some threes earlier today too, so there's some buyback on the Dream, but I just don't expect. I don't expect the Dream to be efficient offensively, even if they get these second chance opportunities. I think the 3-pointers are going to be a big factor. Threes versus twos are going to be a big factor here in why I think the Fever cover the game. Just looking at a couple chats here. What up, guys? What up, Mitch? B Daddy. Kaylin Clark over 18.5 points. Yeah, I think. I think there's opportunity for that. The only reason why I don't want to take over in points is just because of pace of play here. They've gotten a good rotation too, like Christy Wallace, Hull, and all those guys. Those other 3-point shooters are probably in play here today, outside of Kaylin Clark. So I'm not 100% sure. It's I would if I would bet anything, if I was guns ahead, I would lean over on that 18.5, but I wouldn't. That's not something I would bet. So yeah, that would be the breakdown for the Fever and the Dream. Let's move on to the next one here, the Sun and the Aces. Sun and Aces. So we have. Is it 6.5? I saw 5.5 earlier. Yeah, it was up to 6.5 last night. 5.5 this morning. So buyback on Connecticut. If we look at some situational notes, a lot of things pointing towards the Sun, mainly just the rest advantage here is a big impact for them. One thing to note, I mean, you don't see the whole big picture, but I think a lot of the wins for the Connecticut Sun have been against like lower tier teams. They've already faced the Fever 3 times during the beginning part of the season when the Fever were not doing too well. They faced Washington a couple times, Chicago, Atlanta struggling. Dallas was struggling with injuries as well. So a lot of these wins, I feel like, kind of make their stats a little bit misleading. The Aces kind of going the opposite direction, right? They're finally getting a little bit healthy. Chelsea Gray is getting healthier. They got a big win off of the Storm the other day as well. They still are struggling on the defensive side of the ball, though. So that's one of the big reasons why I took today's play, and I'll break that down a little bit further. If we look at some of the ATS spreads, The Sun obviously not dogs often, but last time they were 1-0 in the first half, 0-1 on the full game. Aces here, you can see they've been struggling against the spread. At some point, that's going to turn around, though, in my opinion. Off a win, 1-5 ATS. At home, struggling for sure on the spread there. 1-7 in the first half, 2-6 against the spread. When it comes to the total perspective, a lot of unders we're seeing here, and it has a lot to do with the Sun. But 1-over as a dog here. If you look at the aces, 5-3 to the over at home, 8-5 as favorites. Obviously, off a win, a little bit different here. But like I said, there's some shift in the momentum here with Chelsea Gray coming back and their offense kind of picking things up, and their defense struggling too. And we'll dive into that. So on the season, if we look at this on the season, Aces are 8th in defensive rating. You can see that they're number 1 in pace here, 2nd in offensive rating. So their offense is just going to continue to pick up with Gray coming back. The Sun, like I said, a little bit misleading. I mean, obviously they're always going to be a dominant defensive team with the roster that they have. But I mean, this number is sort of to me inflated here. So is this offensive rating, just because we know that they faced the Fever already 3 times, who are dead last in defensive rating. Some things to mention, effective field goal percentage, not really there, but they're getting the second chance opportunities, getting to the free throw line, and taking advantage of points off turnovers. You can see they're first there, second right there. They don't really get in transition there, but we know that the Aces do. When it comes to within the paint and inside the arc, mid-range game, both really successful. More so the Aces than the Sun. Within the paint, the Sun kind of lived in there. A lot of upper half of the league in paint attempts and field goal percentage. The Aces don't really rely on that. They do rely on the 3-point shot, though. 4th in above the break 3 attempts, 1st in corner 3 attempts, and you can see that they're pretty efficient from the 3 as well. If we go down, let's look at the last 5. You can see that their defense, like I said, they've been struggling on the defensive side of the ball. Dead last in the last 5 games. And if you look at who they faced, Storm, Liberty, Mercury, Lynx, and they even let the Sparks get up on them too. So some pretty good offenses there that they faced that put them in that position. If you look at some of the other pieces here, not much change other than not much change in the last 5 for the Sun there, but more so on the Aces side, just being dead last in second chance points, dead last in points off turnovers allowed. In points off turnovers, because they're not really, like I said, their defense is struggling right now. They're not forcing turnovers. But overall, like from a side perspective, I just stayed away from it because I want to see more from the Sun and how they integrate Chelsea back into the lineup and how they shift. I'm assuming they're going to shift Hayes back to the bench at some point. But one thing that I do like is points. I like the over in this one. I like the Aces to manage the pace of play here. I like that the fact that their offense is going to pick up even more so. And then, like I said, even I feel like some of the defensive rating numbers are a bit misleading based on who the Sun have faced. So you can see in the last 5, they went from 91.94 in the full season to 97 in the last 5 games. So you can see it come back down to earth as they face better competition. So I took the over. That's come up a bit. I think it's come up to 165. And in my breakdown yesterday that I gave to clients, I gave 165 as the highest point that I would take the overs. I'm not sure if it gets up and over that, but I actually got the 162.5. I think 165, anything above 165, I would probably not take it at this point. That's it for the W. So Just recap real quick. Fever -2. It's at 2.5 right now. I still think it's okay. And then on the Connecticut Sun and the Aces, I took the over 162. At 165, I think it's still okay as well. Let's go on to the MLB. Any games to break down? Anyone want to mention any games to pull up? I'll check the comments here in a little bit. Just call out any couple games. We'll break down two or three MLB games today. Marlins and Seattle, Arizona and Washington. Okay, let's go Marlins and Seattle first. All right, Marlins plus 140 at home. Oops, let me change the banner here. All right, we got Kirby and Rogers. Our rating system really likes the Mariners, and mainly because of the starting pitcher. You can see 4 out of 4 there for Kirby. And just right off the bat, looking at the records, I could see that. Some rest advantage stuff here for the Marlins. Looking at the schedule, 4th straight road game here, no rest, coming off a couple L's to Cleveland. Marlins, day of rest. They've been at home too. Couple wins here against the Cardinals. Okay, they were able to put up some runs after struggling against Washington too. So that's a good sign for their offense. Last 5 starts for Kirby. 4 straight strong starts there. He was struggling for a little bit, and then he's come back to where I expected him to be. Faced the Astros, A's, Royals, and the Rangers. Pitched 6 innings. Okay. Rogers here. He's actually been doing pretty well. 3 out of the last 4 starts. Did go 7 innings though. That's a little bit longer than he's used to. So we could probably see some fatigue on his arm early. All right. Look at these splits on the season here. 1-13 straight up on the full game. Run line, 2-12 on the run line for Rogers too. Because at this number, I think most people probably wouldn't take the money line. They would look towards the run line. All right, let's look at the last 30 days though. Last 30 days, looking at the splits, 0-4, 4-1 for Kirby. The under, things are pointing towards the under here on the pitcher splits. But look at Marlins versus right-handed pitchers at home, 6-1-1, but 3-5. So they're giving up runs in this spot here. All right. Hasn't been covering the run line as a road favorite, Kirby, but we know Rogers has been struggling. All right, the bats, I would say Mariners have the edge there, but I mean you're seeing a lot of red on the Mariners side too. They do have a lot of power, so when they get contact, they're able to score a lot of runs there. The problem is they strike out a lot, and that's why their average is low and all that stuff. I mean, 26.9, that must be probably one of the highest strikeout rates. Okay, and then we look at the pitching matchup. Rogers is not a strikeout pitcher. He's a fly ball pitcher. That's why he's giving up home runs, and that's going to be a problem against these Mariners bats who's showing a lot of power right now. What's the total? 7.5. 7.5 against a non-strikeout pitcher. And there's that negative regression here for Rogers too. Dude, Mariners look like they're about to smash. All right. Why is this red? Okay. I would look towards the Mariners run line, first 5 run line, or the first 5 team total for the Mariners on this one. Take advantage of Kirby against Rogers, and take advantage of Rogers' potential negative regression and the fact that he's not a strikeout pitcher against a team that's striking out. That would be the way. I kind of like this. Mariners first 5 run line or team total over. First 5 team total over. What is that number? So team totals first half for the Mariners 2.5. I feel like they should be able to get 2.5. Let me look at season. So pulling up, give me the dog on their MLB. So we'll put up this season. Team equals Mariners. And then let's say as a road favorite, in the first 5, they're averaging over 3 a game. As a road favorite, they're averaging over 3 a game. I want to say first 5 team total over on the Mariners. I actually want to take that. I'm actually gonna bet that. Hopefully it's not too juiced. All right, let's move on to another game here. Arizona and Washington. Okay. Why does it look like that's huge? They must have made an update to StreamYard because I don't remember it looking like this. All right. What did I say? Red Sox. Red Sox. All right. So Reds minus 108 at home, total at 9. Crawford and Abbott. Our rating system likes the Red Sox, and it's mainly because of the offense. So we'll see. We'll look at that a little bit later. A baller system here on the Red Sox. We don't have a lot of baller systems in the MLB, but one does pop up here. And just for instance, or just for example, the threshold for the baller systems are money line. So 60% money line. And then I think it goes back to at least 5 years. That's just some notes on that. All right, looking at the schedule, Boston's been on the road. First game, they have rest too. There's a day of rest here in between. They just swept Toronto. They won 5 in a row. They've been playing pretty well. Okay. We look at the red side, they're on a day of rest too. First game home, 1-2, so off of 6 straight road games. Looks like their offense is struggling. Only went over 2 runs once in the last 5 games. Okay. Crawford, last 5 starts. He's consistently giving up runs and home runs. That's nasty. I can already see like an over type game here. 8 and 9 Ks in the last 2 starts. 6 innings pitched, so that's kind of standard for him. Abbott, home run, 3 earned runs, 5 innings pitched. He's walking people. Okay. 8. All right, so let's look at the split here. Last 30 days, 1-4 for Crawford in his last 5 starts over the last 30 days. Total perspective, so it seems like he's giving up runs here, 4-0-1. If we look at the team splits, Red Sox don't see lefties often, or starting lefties often. Looks like they're just 3-5. Look at his first 5 over 8-0 to the over, 6-2 on the full game against starting lefties. All right. Reds versus right-handed pitchers, 11-8. On the splits here, as home favorites, strong unders, 1-5-1, 5-1-1 to the under, 6-1 to the under. All right, offense, edge to the Red Sox. Edge to the Red Sox. Both teams have some speed here, getting some runs. Neither team all right, so they're striking out a lot of walks. Reds doesn't seem like they have. It's crazy because their barrel rate and hard hit rate is a lot lower, but they have more home runs than the Reds. Than the Red Sox in the last 30 days. So that's kind of interesting to me. All right, let's move to starting pitchers. You can see Abbott here in the last 30 days, kind of consistent. Potential for maybe positive regression on Cutter Crawford's side. But man, high K rate, low walk rate. Seems like this is maybe unlucky here. Gotta back Boston. It makes sense to me. And then the bullpen, slight edge to the Reds, but just very slight. So starting pitcher looks like Red Sox. Offense looks like Red Sox. These splits don't say Red Sox because of Cutter Crawford, but I think there's potential for positive regression with Cutter Crawford. Our rating system really likes the Red Sox. Makes sense to me. I would say full game. I mean, if you want to split it into half, you can, but I think the Red Sox make a lot of sense to me. How far does... So Abbott only goes 5. He went 6, 7, so he can get deeper than 5. But we're seeing consistent 6 with Crawford. I think full game is fine. I think Red Sox full game. Let's just check the chat real quick. Trevor Rogers. Oh, that's last game. Say no more. Yeah. All right. Oh, look at that picture. Oh, look at Munaf. Got an updated picture there. All right. Let's see. Red Sox offense is hot and stealing bases. It looks like the Reds are stealing bases too, though. 28. I mean, it's not that far behind. Crawford giving it up. I think this may be a cure for Reds offense. Yeah, over makes sense. Over does make sense, but I still think that maybe key in on Red Sox team total over potentially, because if we do see positive regression from Crawford, that's going to limit the Reds. And seeing their barrel rate and hard hit rate, and then seeing that this might be a bit unlucky, I feel like the Reds are not going to have the power. I can't see any home runs from the Reds today, in my opinion. Red Sox get Abreu back today too. That's good. What else is that? We haven't done Yankees yet. Red Sox is the call. Makes sense. Red Sox been on fire. Makes sense. 9.5 now, so it is the over. So people taking the over. If I was to pick if I would focus in on Red Sox team total over. Let's go to default first game team total. Boston 4.5. All right, let's go here. Let's go Mariners. Red Sox. Four and a half. Road favorites against starting left-handed pitchers. 2-0 straight up. 2-0 to the over. Alex Wood and Matthew Lib. 5-11. Total's 4.5. I would say Red Sox money line or the over makes sense to me. This trend kind of says that. All right. Reds team total over. Yeah, makes sense. All right, one more game. I got time for one more. Red Sox. Arizona. Did I do Arizona and Washington? I didn't. Arizona and Washington. Arizona versus Washington. Are they playing to each other? Arizona and Washington? I don't think that's a game. Well, it doesn't look like it to me. Arizona versus Philly, Washington versus Colorado. I'm not sure which game that is that you're talking about. We could just do Yankees since S-Dot is here. Braves and Yankees. Yankees minus 102 is what we have. Is it still that? Up to minus, so it's heading towards the Yankee side. Our rating system likes the Braves, though. Interesting. It's the pitching, so starting pitcher and bullpen pointing towards the Braves. Rest advantage and a baller system pointing towards the Braves to get the win there. Schedule-wise, first game on the road from Atlanta to New York. Okay, they've been at home coming off. Damn, they gave up 17 to Baltimore. Gave up 7. Okay. Looking at Sale, he's been pretty good other than this one start against Oakland. He got his 7 innings pitched, and we expect that a little bit. We expect that probably expect that again, probably around 7 innings. He has one more day of rest than Rodon. He only pitched 5 innings though in his last one because he got rocked. So we could expect, I would say, positive regression from Rodon here. Looking last 30 splits, 4-1 and 4-1 for the Yankees. For Rodon, 2-2 on this for Sale. Looks like overs for them. I think it's mainly because of the offenses, right? Probably the offense getting some run support there. If we look at the team splits against lefties at home, Yankees struggling at home against lefties. All right, totals points to the full game over as Road Dogs unders for the Braves though. Seems like for some reason it seems like overs right now. Just looking at the splits, it seems like overs in some way. All right, looking at the batting matchup, edge to the Yankees for sure. They're not seeing the ball well, striking out high. Braves are not seeing the ball well. You see their walk to K very low. They have decent power, but the Yankees have a lot of power there. You can see their barrel rate and their hard hit rate is right there with the Yankees. It's just the fact that they're just not able to get contact. They're not seeing the ball well. Pitching matchup. Sale, 4.68 ERA down to 2.58 FIP and 2.63 xFIP. So I think there's room for positive regression for Sale. And I think that a lot of it has to do with this outing right here. So this is telling me that we expect a little bit of more so this type of outing. I think Rodon pretty consistent. I think don't see too much of a positive regression here at all. Striking out. So we know Sale. Both of these guys strike out at a high rate. Are have a high K strikeout per 9. Sale more so than Rodon. And Sale's a ground ball pitcher, so power might not come into. I mean, only 29.2 fly ball. So I'm not really expecting home runs here for the Yankees. That's interesting. Okay. Bullpen. Bullpen high K to 9 to edge to the Braves. So pitching is definitely to the Braves. Offense to the Yankees, but power is their game for the Yankees. With Sale being a ground ball pitcher and a strikeout pitcher, they might not be able to get the runs that they want. Interesting. I kind of think Braves can steal this. I think I can't. That's that. I can't back the Yankees in this one, dude. Not sure I could back the Yankees here. I would look towards actually the Braves. The Braves or under 8. Yeah, Braves are under for me. Let's look at Yankees real quick against. Specifically against lefties. 4.5. Let's say the total less than 8.5. So lower total. Yeah, maybe. I don't know, man. This one's tough, but I can see a world where it's the Braves and under. Yeah, that one's tough. That one is tough. Sorry, that's not can't back you with the Yankees today. Against a righty, yeah, first 5 Yankees all day, but not here. A lot of people I trust are on the Braves. Esta, you in trouble. Yankees are in trouble. Could be a Brave spot. All right, well, that's it for the MLB and the WNBA. Kind of dove into those here. So it's time for the top looks. Well, actually, before that, let me stop my screen here. Before that, do want to talk about the moneyballer.com, the website we use primarily throughout the day. I also use Give Me the Dog to query some stuff in the MLB as well. They have WNBA available to query on as well. As you can see, like with the Money Baller, you get comprehensive data, advanced stats, betting insights, all on a single page for each specific matchup. So team versus team. You're able to pinpoint profitable betting opportunities at a glance thanks to our detailed situational notes. You saw the situational notes for both WNBA and MLB come into play. The trends are easy to see. Things pop out with the red and the green. You can tell what's good and what's bad right off the bat. And then obviously the betting insights also. Sorry, the situational trends and custom betting systems. The dope thing about it too, guys, is if you ever use it on, I think most of you guys probably handicap your games on desktop, but if you're on the go, it fits perfectly within your phone. It's optimized for your phone, so you can see it really easily. You won't have to zoom in and do all these things. It's all perfectly aligned so that you can go through all the same data that you do see on the website. Basic access is free through the whole month of July, so you still got one whole free month to get the basic access. Baller access is a premium version, and you get the baller systems, right? This baller system, situational notes. You get the MLB rating system, and very soon the WNBA model. And I have a meeting with the guys in just like 20 minutes to talk over that, and when we're gonna push that over. So hopefully soon. And also the WNBA trends are gonna be an overhaul too. We're gonna add team totals for the team and the opponent. We're gonna be able to filter a little bit easier as well. So last 5, last 10, last 15 games as well for the WNBA. Right now, it's a little bit different, a little bit funky. There are some graphs that some people mentioned that they're not really using, so we're going to remove those and put more useful information on that WNBA page. So make sure you guys join the community. There's a lot of handicappers who trust themoneyballer.com. People actually use it on their shows. Guys like Ski, Crispy Cap'n, they've mentioned it on their show that they use it to kind of go through the slate. So that's really awesome to hear that pro bettors, people who we trust, are using it on a daily basis. And after just 2 months, we got about 750 members on the website. Mostly you guys, most of them are using the free version. We are seeing a trickle of upgrades to the baller access now that people see the show and see the use of the baller system and all that stuff. But there's going to be a lot more stuff for the baller access folks. So, hopefully you guys see the benefits of themoneyballer.com. So sign up today. Like I said, free. Basic access is free through the month of July. So with that said, let's move on to the top looks. All right, so going to the WNBA, let's go with the fever here because I think the total on the Sun and Aces have moved a bit to a point where I don't really feel. I think they could still go over, but I have a 2.5 point gap between what I got versus what's available now. Fever at 2.5. I think it's still pretty good. There's even a 2 here coming at South Point, so we don't know. Maybe there's a chance that this comes back down a little bit, but I do think that the Dream are going to struggle offensively here. If you want to focus in on something specific, maybe the Dream team total under could be a way to go, but my top look would be the Fever because I bet that. And in the MLB, I actually didn't bet anything today in the MLB, but one thing that we talked about today that really stuck out to me was the Mariners' first 5 team total over, and I will actually add that to my card. So those are the top 2 bets, top 2 looks today. All right, with that said, guys, that's the end of the show. Thanks to all who tuned in. If you enjoyed the content, please share it with others. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button before you go. If you're on Twitter, the little heart and repost or whatever it is now. Also, don't forget to check out the links in the description below for more resources. You have the Money Baller there, Give Me the Dog, Even Killer Sports, the live odds page that I use, my Wagertalk capper page, all that stuff. That's all in the description below. And as always, I have to end with this. Remember, whether you fade us or follow us, it is on you to make that call. Good luck with all your action. Till next time, peace.